Hi, it's me, Jessica. I'm so glad you decided to join me. Today we're talking about meditation and the overculture. And specifically, we are talking about how our meditation practices can help us A, recognize there is an overculture, and B, subvert that overculture when we choose to. This is big stuff. This is magically fun stuff for someone like me. If you've read any of my books or downloaded any meditations, or if you've meditated with me in person, you'll know that the way I teach is countercultural. The way I run my business is countercultural. And when I say those things, the culture that I am counter to is the overculture. And in everybody's case, including mine, certain aspects of the overculture. And this is so important because right now, the world is in a chaotic threshold, liminal space where the old is sort of crumbling away and we haven't quite stepped into the new. And the overculture has gotten us here. And it's clear to me that the future that we want to create and bring into being is different than how it was. So this is why those of us who have the bandwidth to do so, when we become aware that there's an overculture, and then we use our magic to subvert it, each of us in our own way, that is what is going to allow all of us to create a future that we would all like to live in. And I'm not just talking about humans, but plants, animals, the landscapes of the earth, the natural elemental forces, etc. So the first thing we want to do is recognize that there is an overculture. So there's an element to the overculture that is sort of like that old saying about the fish is swimming in water and someone says, you know, how's the water? And the fish says, like, what's water? Because it's all around the fish. The fish doesn't know anything different. That's the same thing with our overculture. The first person that I know of that is said to have coined this phrase overculture is Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves. And she preferred this term over the phrase dominant culture. And I prefer this term over that phrase as well. So overculture, maybe in olden days was called the dominant culture. And these are all the beliefs, the social mores, like all of the rules for being good, and good citizen, good civilian, good in society, that we are all swimming in. So step one, recognize there's an overculture. Step two, we each need to recognize that each of us has our own unique sort of, just like we have our own unique fingerprints, we each of us have our own unique blueprint or birthright to live authentically. And the reason this is, again, so important right now is because I believe that the life itself, that existence itself, requires each of us to bring our unique gifts and talents forward at this time. So again, we can create this future that we all want to live in. So there is an overculture. We each have our own birthright of things that we want to be, do, see, have, and feel. And sometimes, and I would say often, the overculture may stop us from being, seeing, having, feeling those things. And even though the overculture will try to make us think that it is at the top, that is over everything, I also want to just like boop in and remind us all that actually nature is above the overculture if we're going to look at this in a hierarchical way. But for right now, let's zoom in on the overculture. Yes, nature is bigger than it. Nature has its own wisdom and power, but then right there above all of us humans is this overculture. And it can be stopping us for not only, enjoying our life to the fullest, but also for it can prevent us from bringing forth the things that we must bring forth, for those beneficial ripple effects to radiate out from each of us, interact with each other, and so that again we are building a future that we would all like to live in. So one of my tricks for working with the overculture is this. We don't have to subvert the whole thing. and really good luck trying to do that. All each of us needs to do is to become clear on our part. So for instance, there are certain parts of the overculture that have to do with capitalism that I subvert. There are, for you, it might be something different. There are different parts of how women are told to age that the overculture tells us that I subvert. These, I'm just giving examples of my areas of subversion, my areas of being countercultural. And this is a lifelong sort of process and journey, and each of us has our own unique part to play in it. And so none of us needs to feel like we have to, subvert the entire overculture. That's not true. We just need to zero in on the places, especially where we have power, and subvert there and there. Because overculture in a neutral setting is not bad. Could be good. And there may even be really good, beneficial parts of the existing overculture that we have. But that's in a completely neutral environment. And so we want to keep the parts of the overculture that are beneficial to us. We want to subvert the parts of the overculture that are hurting us individually or perhaps hurting others. An interesting journal prompt, especially if you experience any kind of intense desire for something, is this. Whose desire is this? Is it mine? And when I say mine, I'm pointing to my heart, and I'm also pointing to my gut. The thinking mind is perhaps the part of us that is most overtaken by the overculture. So we want to drop down into these deeper places of knowing. So whose desire is this? Is it mine, or does it belong to the overculture? Is this something that life, the world, is telling me will thrill me or will make me happy? And especially if this is also very useful to sort of reverse. So if that was talking about like if you have a desire and like investigating, is this desire mine or does it belong to the overculture? Then you're at a choice point of what to do. And the flip side of that is if you are experiencing something that you do not like, then you can ask the same question. Is this unwanted thing like of me, or is it of the overculture? These are very interesting questions to ask, especially when you are experiencing a strong either attraction to something or repulsion from something. Super, super interesting to all of us over our lifetimes to tease apart what is my innate, intuitive, instinctual, wanting, and what belongs to this umbrella overculture that is, all of us are a part of. So what I would like to share with you now is just a little meditation. And this one you choose, eyes open or closed. I like to close my eyes. And this little experience is just here to help us get a taste, get a sense, catch the flavor of what it's like to be able to perceive the overculture and sort of, from a higher perspective. And then you can take that from there. And this experience we're going to do is 2 meditations combined from this book, which is it's called 99 Visions. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's 99 meditations. And we are just basically combining two of those meditations to get us to a space where we can not only perceive the overculture, but where we can also supersede the overculture. So earlier I was talking about subversion. Sometimes it's better to go underneath it. Sometimes it's better to go above it. So this is going to be an experience of going higher, of going above it. But either way does work. And you know, as always, like, find your way. Everything I offer is an invitation, and I hope always that you will adapt these tools, you know, so they really fit you. Oh, and the other thing that we want to remember about the overculture is this. The overculture has an effect on us, but also we may be part of someone else's overculture. So we also affect the whole overculture, and you can take that in a positive or even an adverse or negative way. I choose to show up and do the best I can to, if I'm part of the overculture, to have a beneficial effect on it. And also I reserve the right at all times as a magical person to subvert anything that needs subverting. I invite you to feel the same. Okay, so settling in. If you want to let your eyes close, go ahead. And right away, just start tuning into the feeling of breathing. And let's just take 3 conscious cycles of breath. So this is really easy. Whenever you happen to breathe in, think in 1, and as you breathe out, think out 1. So that's 1 cycle. In 2, out 2, in 3, out 3. And then just like right away, feeling ourselves very much arrived in this moment. And in your mind's eye, in your imagination, I want you to see in front of you a beautiful, glowing from the inside, kind of pale marine green staircase. And this staircase goes all the way up into the sky, farther than you can see. And the staircase is like glowing from within. It has this soft, kind of pale green or blue-green light. It's like really inviting, really beautiful. And checking out that green staircase. And then when you're ready, you're going to start walking up the stairs. And with every step you take, you're going to feel a little bit of the effects of the overculture like falling away. So as we take these first few steps up this green staircase, a lot of things that fall away are sort of like the shoulds, or any thoughts we have around our unworthiness or why we're not good enough, or that kind of thing. So as you walk up the stairs, you don't have to name and explain these things. They're just dropping away. All your shoulds, all these sort of like little petty things that the world asks of you that don't really matter. All these things that perhaps maybe you were forced into doing. These things are just like wicking off of you and staying on the lower steps. And as you keep climbing higher, more and more things fall away. So anything you no longer need falls away. Anything that's holding you back or keeping you small or keeping you quiet, all of that falls away. So you keep on climbing stair after stair, step after step, and the higher you go, the lighter you get, because these things are just dropping away to hang out on the lower steps. You can always go back and get them if you want to. And now that you're about midway up the stairs, it's like you can move up the stairs a lot faster. You're a lot lighter. Lots of stuff has dropped away. You don't even need to think about it. You're just step, 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 higher and higher up into the sky on this glowing green staircase. Maybe you want to like take the stairs like 2 at a time, or skip a stair, or run, or dance, or skip up the staircase. Maybe you want to walk up the staircase for a little while backwards so you can see all that junk down there on the lower stairs. As you go higher and higher and you get lighter and lighter. So enjoying the second half of the climb up these stairs, like it's pretty easy. Like everything is very light, very airy, very pure. And these glowing green stairs really stretch all the way up into the sky. So you have a long way to go still, but you're doing it kind of fast because you're very light. Continuing your climb up the stairs, no worries about getting to any certain destination. By now the climbing should feel pretty good. And now you're going to take the last few steps, and at the top of the staircase is this wonderful sort of platform in the sky. And so arriving at the top of the staircase on that platform and looking around, what kind of sky are you in? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime? Are there clouds? Is there weather up here? Are you above the weather? There might be a little symbolism in whatever the sky looks like around you. And now imagine from all the way up here, from this platform at the top of the staircase, you can look down on the overculture. And there's no need to see the entire thing. You're looking down on whatever section of the overculture is below you. And again, there may be symbolism, metaphor, insight here. So just in your own way, from up on this platform, and you can climb these stairs and come up here anytime you want, you are overlooking the overculture. So a little bit of time to do that. And endeavor to just keep your gaze sort of soft and roaming around. You don't need to let your gaze sort of land and drill down on any aspect of the overculture unless you wish to. But instead, you're looking at all of it. You're getting to see the overculture from above. And endeavoring to not let the thinking mind get too involved. This is a spiritual moment where you are over the overculture and you are learning what you can. Anything can happen. Let yourself be surprised as you witness the overculture from above, from your platform all the way up here at the top of the green staircase. If there are any feelings of power or pleasure present as you look over the overculture, indulge them, breathe them bigger, enjoy it. There may be a sense of freedom, liberation. Enjoy that as well. Now, for the last few minutes of this meditation, you may stay here on the platform looking over the overculture, spread out below you. Or if you choose, you may also turn yourself into a hawk. And as your hawk self, you may launch off this platform and make big, great circles in the sky so you can see different perspectives, different angles on the overculture below. Again, stay awake to any insights that might come in, any symbolic things you see in the landscape below. So the choice is yours, staying on the platform, working with the overculture from above. From up here, perhaps you can even make little changes and adjustments already, or identify things that you want to make adjustments to or subvert. And then you also have that choice to become hawk and to fly and to enjoy the flying and to enjoy that feeling of the invisible air holding you perfectly aloft as you explore and learn and see the overculture from previously unobtainable viewpoints. So having fun, enjoying yourself, whether on the platform or as hawk, soaring over the overculture, letting any and all insights arise. And as you do, understanding that working with the overculture is going to be a lifetime process for us. So no need to feel like everything must be addressed now. If you want to drill in on one area, you're welcome to. If you want to look at the whole thing, you're welcome to. And especially as hawk, like, have fun getting those new angles, even more than a bird's eye view, like flying in from the side, the top, seeing it from over here, seeing it from over there, seeing what it looks like if you're flying fast, seeing what it looks like if you're circling over a certain area. And just enjoying this time where you get to be over the overculture. Time over the overculture. How liberating, how freeing. Even if this is just a vacation from daily life within the overculture, this time is yours and you can make a lot of magic in this space. If you want to keep meditating, go ahead. Thank you so much for sharing this trippy experience with me. And I encourage you to stay aware of the overculture and also recognize your power within it. Just like life itself, we are both woven into the overculture and we are also the weavers of it. So stepping into that position of power is my hope for you and for all of us. And I'll see you next time. And thank you so much for your presence.